Welcome to Flourish. I'm Diane Planidin, and you're in the right place if you're ready to create an inspired life. And you do so by working on your own personal development so you can be strong for those you love and mentor and for yourself. It's important to be a strong role model, but it's also important that you have some self-care involved there. You need to be strong for those moments that life handles you a load of challenges too. Today's inspiration comes from the one and only James Allen. He wrote quite profoundly back in the 1900s. One book in particular that's my favorite. It's called As a Man Thinketh. Now, before you start worrying about gender identification, man in that time was referred to all of mankind. But today we like to be a little bit more correct in what we're saying so it cannot be misconstrued by others. Interestingly enough, a fellow by the name of Mark Allen rewrote this book just to that effect, so anybody who read it didn't have to worry. There's one opening poem in this book that I'm going to read, the converted version from Mark Allen, and here it goes. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and we are mind, and evermore we take. The tool of thought and shaping what we will, bring forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. We think in secret, and it comes to pass. Our world is but our looking glass. Don't you just love that? Our world is but our looking glass. And yes, the mind does mold what it makes, whether you're feeling healthy or you're feeling ill, whether you're feeling abundant or at a loss, whether you're feeling like a victim or an inspiration leader. It really does start with how you think, how you interpret things, and your perception. Now, there is a thing where people like to say, oh, perception's reality. What they forget to say is, my perception is my reality. What I think is what I choose to think. So, if you're feeling less than, take a look at what you're thinking, what you're saying to yourself. There's so many thoughts that go through our minds each day. It's almost overwhelming, isn't it? But that doesn't mean you can think yourself into health and happiness and wealth. You also have to take actions. You have to take the steps. You have to let it flow, trust the process, trust the process. And if you're directed in the wrong way, well, you're going to have to pivot and navigate. And that's why I think it's quite interesting that this book was written in 1902. You know, of course, there's a lot written in Buddhism about this as well, and scripture. And I read everything from any denomination. I think it's quite helpful. There's one chapter in particular in this book that is entitled Thought and Purpose. I'm just going to read you the first paragraph. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. With the majority, the bark of thought is allowed to drift upon the ocean of life. Aimlessness is a vice, and such drifting must not continue. Who would steer clear of catastrophe and destruction? Aimlessness is a vice. And we have all kinds of distractions, don't we? So you have to ask yourself when you read books like that, and let me tell you, it might be a short, small book, but it's a big read. Because with each passage, you need to stop and think and digest. And that's also why I like to buy paper copies of books, because I like to highlight, make notes, use all my cognitive abilities to really absorb all the little meaty parts of a book. And each paragraph gives you a moment to reflect. And then you can review and rewind and, think, wow, purpose. Yeah. Now, what does that come down to? Does your life have meaning? What do you do that's meaningful? I know I'm asking you all these questions today because I don't have the answer for you. You're the only one that can answer these things for yourself. You're the only one that spends the most time with your thoughts. And it's really deep and meaningful if you can stop and really listen to what you're saying. Because as a man thinketh, so he shall be. As a woman thinketh, so shall she be. That's why it's super important to stay in tune with the one person you can help the most, and that's yourself. And that's where the inspiration comes from for this show. Inspired living is really being able to be the best that you can be, strive to become more, give back to society, and serve others. We're all here to serve one another, aren't we? Yes. So when James Allen wrote this, he didn't mean just a man. He means mankind and everyone, every single one of us. But you need to take action. You need to take action. Put your thoughts together, write it down, put a journal together. You'll reach a point where you'll feel, more serene, more peaceful, and you'll have a direction for your life, and you'll live a life more inspired. I'm Diane Planidin, wishing you a wonderful day.